Out now. How's that? Yeah, there's yeah, we see that there's no I don't understand why there's no audio. Okay, so now you guys can hear me? Now you hear me? Okay, good. All right. Well, that was not fun. All right, so we're gonna try it using this microphone here. I don't like to use this microphone for this sort of thing because, as you can see, it cuts off. But yeah, welcome from winter weather, winter weather wonderland, um, all over the place, and goodness, it's wild. It's been a wild day. This is going to be a little bit different from a normal stream that we do. Usually we're talking about tornadoes, but the good news is we're not talking about any tornadoes today. Um, now we're going to talk about winter weather here, and as you can see on the radar network, a lot of winter weather out there right now. We have rain offshore, but we've had sleet transitioning to snow in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. It's really been a historic day for winter weather in the South. Uh, Mobile, Alabama set a new all-time record. It People were taking out airboats in Louisiana. There were people apparently skiing in the French Quarter of New Orleans. Like, what in the world? But yeah, so we have plenty of snow here that's falling really all across the eastern seaboard. It's been sleeting at my place. It's sleeting at the Weather Service office. We're starting to get some reports now of some snow coming in. We have seen some snow downtown Charleston, Johns Island trying to mix in a little bit. We're still dealing with a little bit of sleet here as we zoom in a little bit more here. Yeah, we're still dealing with a little bit of sleet, and you can see the computer. The computer is trying to understand like the precipitation type here. This is not working the way. It doesn't always work out very well. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit different here. You might see that you're seeing snow on the radar here, but um, in reality, it might be more sleet. Again, these algorithms don't do the best job. I think where we can definitely say we're seeing snow is for those of you who are, a lot of you in North Carolina are getting it there. You're going to get it in Columbia. You're getting it in um, getting it in Charlotte, still Atlanta, Macon. Really, kind of an overperforming storm system here at this point is really kind of what we've been looking at. Really remarkable, to be honest. It's been kind of remarkable here. So go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and switch to the high resolution radar here because this is what we want to use. Um, this is what I would rather use for such an event. And so what this does, this is showing us what's actually being reported back by the radar. And we'll go to a few of these as time goes on, but you can see behind me here, and I think what I'm going to do actually, guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to try the lav again. I'm going to try using my clip mic again because I can't do this with the with the boom mic here. This is kind of painful. Um, and I want you all to be able to hear me as I wheel around because I've got a lot of screens here. So we're going to switch audio sources real quick. And give me just a second here. Hopefully this will continue to work. All right. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're just going to have to deal with the we're just gonna have to the that. So yeah, I think you should have me again. Um, back on the other uh back on the other output. Um, so we have to ditch that. And it looks like I'm back. So that's good. So I'm starting to hear that folks are back. I have a little bit of a, for some reason, I can't see if my audio is transmitting, which is wonderful, which is really great and terrible. So anyway, so we're going to stick with this guy. I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. Um, I'm not happy about it. Anyway, so you can see behind this random boom mic that's just sticking out because that's the boundary of my green screen. First I'm here, now I'm gone. First I'm here, now I'm gone. You can see a big burst of snow. Well, not really snow. This is probably sleet mixing in with snow. And one way that we can do that is that, so you're used to seeing this view when we're talking about debris, but something cool here is that we can also use this view to look at mixed precipitation and winter weather, because this also tells us if we're seeing a mix of that. And so right now you can see we have these lighter colors that are showing up, and um, that's where we're starting to see some of this stuff begin to mix in. And we're also seeing some of that mixing happen around Somerville and amongst Corner, and that's to be expected. Again, that's to be expected. We've got it looks like the latest update here, just a lot of mixed precipitation right now. So that means you're getting ice pellets. There might be some rain in there. There's probably some snow in there. Um, Probably a whole lot of good stuff here. So I'm actually going to switch here a little bit to a different view. Hopefully that will go a little better. No, I don't like that either. Nah, do this. So yeah, so here's our radar composite, and this is what we call the correlation coefficient, and usually we use this to find debris and tornadoes. Tonight we're going to use it for something much more fun, which is to find where the snow and the ice are falling here. And we have a lot of reports here of ice pellets coming in throughout the area, a little bit of freezing rain right at the coast. It's been sleeting. I've been hearing sleet. And I do see in the comments people are demanding Weather Daddy merch. It does exist, chswx.com/merch, and we'll have something soon for the Carolina Weather Group as well. So let's take a kind of a wider view here. And again, really, we have some of the heaviest precipitation actually happening right now over the Tri-County area. We're going to be in the sleet for a little bit. The weather balloon at about 5 o'clock was showing the 5 o'clock weather balloon was it showed a little bit of a warm nose aloft, but enough of a sub-freezing layer to allow for refreezing. So that's why it's not been a lot of freezing rain, although we've had some freezing rain. I had some freezing rain at my house right along the coast. We had some freezing drizzle earlier. That's coated over some things, so not great. But getting a lot of reports in here, a lot of sleet, and I expect that makes sense. Sleet makes sense right now, especially based on what we're seeing on the radar. Because again, here's the reflectivity, but if I go to the correlation coefficient, you can see really there's your melting layer. So you have a lot of melting happening here, a lot of mixed precipitation. And so where we go away from the reds and you get into like the oranges and the yellows and even into some of the greens and blues, that's a mix. That's where you have your mixing going on. That's where your melting is happening. That's where your mixing is. And so we are mixing quite a bit right now over the Tri-County area. You're going to have some sleet in there. Again, we're going to be this is a kind of falling and refreezing, and we should get a new weather balloon sounding here pretty soon, actually. So we should see another round of weather data from the balloon to tell us, what is the atmosphere doing now. We've had many reports of sleet. I expect that right now. I expect that. Now, what should happen over time, we still have winds coming out of the north here. So over time, what's going to likely happen is that worm nose is going to continue to erode. And that's something that the next weather balloon is going to tell us. So we have questions is like, is this sleet going away? Is it going to turn into snow? We would like some snow. You know, do we want snow? Do we want, things like that? And it's, are we going to get snow? The answer is yes. It's going to change over. It may take a little more time, especially in that immediate Charleston metro, living out on, on the islands. You're still closer to the water there. That warm air is going to take a little bit longer to erode. But the expectation is that a trough aloft is going to push that warm air aloft. It's going to push it out, and it should allow for the entire atmospheric column to go under freezing. And so that's how you get your snow. You have to have pretty much the entire atmospheric column under freezing to stay snow. Otherwise, if you get a little warm nose in there, it's going to melt and then refreeze, and you don't want that. So if you're looking for snow. Now, again, we're looking at the reports here. You can see there's just a lot here. We have some folks reporting flakes. We have, a lot of ice pellets being reported with a mix of maybe some freezing rain. And we have some reports of snow, like a rain and snow mix, a mix of ice pellets. And again, these are MPing reports. These are things that folks are, the contributing reports around what they're seeing, just using the MPing app or radar scope or something like that. So again, we do have questions about that. We'll see what happens. But again, right now, the predominant precipitation type is sleet. Now, again, we have this melting layer here. Now, I wouldn't be surprised, St. George, Monk's Corner, Bono, St. Stephen, you're under freezing. I'm not seeing any signs of melting there. So I think in this area, you're probably seeing just straight snow at this point. We don't have a lot of reports out of there, because this is kind of more of a rural area. But that being said, I do think that we have sleet falling now in this neck of the woods. So that's cool, or snow rather. We should have some snow falling in that neck of the woods. So again, let's go regional here. Let's take a look at the regional view. And this is over the last 3 hours. I'm going to go ahead and stop the animation here and kind of take a look. And again, it's kind of funny because the radar algorithm actually thinks the opposite is happening. The precipitation type algorithm is actually thinking it's snowing in Charleston, but in reality, it's sleet. And then we have the pink that's over Monk's Corner, Bono, St. Stephen, St. George. But I think that's actually snow based on what I'm seeing from the radar. So there you go. But what do I know? I'm just a human. So again, a lot of reports of heavy sleet. And again, you can kind of see that as we zoom in, you can see some of even some red there. That's some bright banding happening there. On there. So getting some good reports here. So there's light snow in Bowman, in Cross, and everything is ice. So that's really good news here. That's good to know. And Mount Pleasant, mainly sleet mixed in from occasional snow flurries. Tropical storm Rob. I do not think that is Rob Fowler and Finsta, but if it is, cool. So yeah, just a lot of sleet right now. And there you go. So zooming out a little bit, we're talking a lot of sleet and mixed precipitation around the coast, but one of the cool things is that I just realized that my trackball is wireless, so I can just stick it on my knee and be good. The other thing that's cool is that we have a lot of snow falling right now still in North Carolina, Charlotte, Jacksonville, North Carolina. So our North Carolina friends, you're in it pretty good. Wilmington probably mixing a little bit, probably mixing in the Grand Strand. Looks like you're mixing into the Grand Strand here. But yeah, going up to Greenville, Raleigh, those areas, looks like a pretty solid snowfall underway right now. So again, watching you in chat, watching everybody here, we've got kind of broadcasting all over the place, all over the Carolina Weather Group network. So again, I'm keeping an eye on that. We'll put there, we'll put that out as needed, and would love to know what you're seeing. But again, what I'm seeing on the Charleston feed on Instagram is that there's just a lot of snow in Avondale. And so that just a lot of sleet rather in Avondale. And yeah, sleet is going to be the operative thing here for the next little bit. If I turn the precipitation typing off, One, it doesn't come through as well, but you see that really bright band here, right down around Folly Beach into the Charleston Harbor, and that's where a lot of your mixing is happening right now. So we do have a, a report of a snowball in Hilton Head, so that's pretty cool. So they've been able to make snowballs in Hilton Head apparently, which is kind of neat. Um, we're continuing to monitor, the weather service chat and everything there, and um, so it's going to be busy. So again, um, the consideration snow wise is that we should see everything change over to snow by about midnight. That's been the operative thinking. And again, once we get the weather balloon data in here, I think that's going to help a lot. That'll help us understand quite a bit. Um, the one thing that has been uncertain in all of this, though, is just how long it will take, especially near the coast, to change from sleet to snow. And again, the warm nose can be a thing, and we don't want, it's possible we could bust low on snow accumulations if the sleet lasts for longer. Um, so there you go. So as far as as far as the snow forecast and everything right now, kind of what we're thinking still is a decent shot at 3 to 5 inches of snow across much of the Charleston metro. Really, Charleston, and then you get into Georgia, you have a little bit more of an icing risk here. A little bit lighter further to the north. We're not quite seeing some of the stronger banding setup like we're seeing over Charleston here. Um, when we are getting now a report of snow in Bono, so that actually makes sense. And again, this is going to continue overnight and rough Wednesday morning. So, um, all right. So we've got to look now at a weather camera in. Let's see. I got James coming in to help me a little bit here. Let me turn that one off and see if we can't get. That's the College of Charleston camera. Kind of hard to see what's what right now, but yeah, we do expect this to hang around through Wednesday morning, and then this should depart um, after that. So let's boop, boop, go back to the and there. Here we go. Here's a nice shot. Not sure which camera that is, but let's take that full real fast. And I do not have an. Let me see what the indicator is on this. Um, I believe that is the Outer Banks camera, actually, as I recall. I think that's a camera on the Outer Banks, and so you can see just how much it's snowing there. That's pretty impressive. I mean, that's really impressive there. So here's College of Charleston. So there's Charleston, a couple views of that, and again, really the main issue that we're dealing with right now is sleet and snow. So yeah, that's duck. Yes, thank you. Yes, yes. I've been dealing with a lot of a lot of locations today, but yeah, thank you. Yeah, that is the duck camera there. Yeah, Folly Surf Cam looks like big. Okay, so we have seen that before. It may be flakes this time. It looks like we do have an imping report of snow on Folly, so we'll take that full here. And again, you see that bright banding showing up there, but we do now have reports of snow around St. George and Bono. Again, going to the correlation coefficient, if I roughly believe that this is the melting layer, that this is the freezing line right here. So you can see how this is all normal, and then you start to see it kind of get a little wacky here. And I think this is where your colder air is there again. 28 now in Somerville, 28 in Monk's Corner, still in the 30s here, and I think this is where we're seeing our warm nose here on the radar right now. So yeah, we do have reports now of snow in Cross, so that makes sense. Let's again, we'll put this in motion here. You can see that we've seen an uptick in the radar composite is definitely showing us an uptick there in the last little bit. And I just got a report from Somerville now that we do have snow in Somerville, so it looks like it's starting to change over now in Somerville as well. So so I'm getting getting videos right now of snow coming in Somerville. So Yeah. So I'm just putting some notes in the uh sorry. So snow mixing in with sleet now off of College Park Road. So that's good. That's that's roughly in the Somerville neck of the woods, kind of close to Carnes Crossroads, Crowfield, those areas, and Goose Creek. And so yeah, so there's so again, we see some bright bursts here, but the thing that I'm noticing is that where you're seeing these bright bursts, that's probably sleet, if I have to guess. And now we're starting to get reports that everything is starting to change over in Goose Creek. So it is coming, it's happening. And if we take a look at the radar again, we'll start to see that that more pronounced melting layer is beginning to move south there. So we have had reports of some power outages, and that's something that we'll have to be careful of, um, over time. So yeah, let's go here, and then let me get a. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to level 2, and let me. Okay, cool. So I do have that over Charleston right now. Let's take another look at this. That's actually Columbia. I can make this Charleston though. Um, let me. We're gonna switch. We're gonna switch to the Charleston radar again because again, right now we have a lot of folks in Charleston who the last time they saw a significant snowfall was 2018. We were here uh, doing that. So yeah, let me switch to WSV3, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch this to it says debris detection, but in reality, this is the correlation coefficient. What I want to do here is kind of telestrate for you guys exactly where this is setting up. So your freezing line seems to be roughly here. So you can see I'm kind of tracing that. And this is going to be probably snow, maybe some pockets of sleet at times, but primarily snow here. And then here, further south, as you get into Adams Run, downtown Charleston, the islands here, I think this is going to be where your ice pellets are going to be. This is where you're going to be seeing um, sleet. So again, you can see kind of north of that line, north of this line here, I believe this is where we were seeing the melting layer. Um, and so this is a really, really useful tool to help us understand what's what. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. Um, and then, we'll go from there. So, uh, Bill Jr., thank you for the super chat. I don't know that the snow is completely over for Greenville Spartanburg yet. Let's go back to the kind of the wider view here. And you still have it still looks like that there's a little bit there. It's going to push offshore overnight. It's going to push away overnight, but it is but yeah, it's still looking like you've got some stuff falling there right now on radar at least. Might have a little bit of a dry spell there. But let's go back to level 2. Let's p type this guy, and then let's is this p typed? No, p type it. P type it. Okay, that's not working. Cool. Oh, because it's the wrong button. Yay. Computers are great. Big fan. All right, so let's do that. There it is. All right, cool. So let me switch to so the GSP radar is down. That's been kind of a that's been kind of a thing, and that's been a problem for Greenville. So it kind of lowers the radar coverage that we have there. But it does look like there might be still a little something there. Um, but we don't know if. But it will be tapering off. Again, this was not going to be a big one for the upstate, and the fact that you got any snow, honestly, is kind of surprising. Is a kind of a relief, truth be told, because it was not looking good for you guys there for a minute. It was looking like you were not going to hear that, you were not going to see that. So that is, that's quite nice. What I'm doing here is, let's see if we can't get some statewide graphics here. Let's see. That's not helpful. Just a second, folks. I'm just looking at a couple things. Uh, uh, Oh, rah. So we have some questions about North Carolina here, so I'm going to do my best to answer that. And again, we're getting reports of a lot of hard sleet. We're seeing some. Uh, let's see here. Forecasts. Snow and ice forecasts. Can I get NC probabilistic snowfall forecast? Yeah. So what we'll do is do that, and I'm gonna switch that. And what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna take this preview window full, and I am allow. Yes, thank you. And then so here is kind of what we're looking at for this is what we're looking at right now for really the North Carolina. So Wilmington, you could see 4 to 5 inches. Beaufort, Hatteras, 5 to 6 inches out on the Outer Banks. We're seeing that on the duck cam there earlier. Um, definitely uh, probably less than an inch to go. Charlotte, maybe less, maybe a dusting here in Raleigh, Rockingham, Sanford. Still could have impacts on the the road situation there. Maybe another inch for Columbia and Augusta before it's all said and done. But really, the main event is at the coast. That's really where we're seeing the main event. And again, we've kind of shown here that the precip type algorithms are not great, and so yeah, so that there's your forecast, and kudos to Raleigh because it kind of gives us both, kind of gives us both, which is awfully nice. Um, so that's where we're at, and that's what we're looking at. So again, kind of zooming out here, looking at the Charleston radar. Let's take a trip to Wilmington. Actually, let's pull up the Wilmington radar and let's go find the melting layer here. And it looks a little bit, it's not quite as prominent. We have a lot of snow. We have a lot more snow here. We have a little bit of mixing happening in Wilmington. Zoom in on that. Little bit of mixing, happening around Wilmington and Skipper's Corner in there. But this is looks like this is all snow for the most part. We have a little bit of melting happening around Myrtle Beach, so I think they're seeing a bit of a mix here. And the Wilmington radar is also kind of yeah, it's a little blocked in a couple directions too, so that doesn't help. But we have lots of snow reports. Got snow reports coming in from New Bern, Jacksonville, Morehead City, um, and um, and so that's really cool. Again, some ice pellets and rain and snow mix down in Myrtle. So again, really, this is the rare kind of thing. We talked about this the other night on the show. This is kind of the rare situation where we have a coastal event going on. This is a completely coastal event, um, and it's kind of wild. So so what we're looking at here, this is a good question. So I am looking at right now. What I'm looking at is I'm just looking at the raw radar returns. One thing I can do is turn on the precipitation typing, and this can give us a little bit more of an idea of what's falling. However, what I prefer to use is the correlation coefficient, which can show us where the melting layer is. And that's where it's red, it's pretty much all one type of precipitation. And in this case, that's snow. Um, Wilmington, probably seeing some ice pellets falling there. That's kind of backed up here because you can see we get into the yellows and the greens. Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, kind of the same thing. But we'll see. And the precip type algorithms that you typically see there, they don't do a good job of this. I've never been a fan. Um, never been a fan. It's really not my favorite. So, so there is that. Um, so, that's just how it is. Um, just taking a look at some of the comments here. We're getting reports that it's really loud downtown. The sleet is very loud downtown. It's probably loud at my house too. I can't hear a thing because I've got these in-ear monitors in. Um, but we've got like, you know, yeah, we've got a ton here. We've got some good questions here too about, if this is going to overperform. Um, yeah, and that's going to be something here. So, we have some folks in Wilmington reporting sleet. That's going to be a thing. Monk's Corner is it's snowing. John's Island, you're still in the sleet for now, but it should change. It should change over here fairly soon. So yeah, so we have a lot of getting a lot of really good reports here. Um, and so we're getting there. Let me do that real fast. All right. So there's that, and then going back to CLX. So this is the Charleston radar, and again, we're starting to see, using the MPing program, we're starting to see a lot of reports of snow beginning to come in. There are reports, unfortunately, of people without power on James Island. That is not good. We hope that gets back as quickly as possible. Not a good situation to see that. But yes, in much of the Charleston metro, it's probably still sleet and snow. If we go to this, it's probably still sleet, maybe mixing with some snow. And as we look at the correlation coefficient, once again, a lot of this yellow, this is where we're seeing the sleet mix in. And again, what this product on the radar lets us know of is everything the same thing within the radar beam, or are there different types of things in the radar beam? Now, typically, when we show you this, when we're doing tornadoes, we're looking at this to see if a tornado is lofting debris. In this case, we're just looking to see where the sleet and the snow are mixing in. They're going to show up a little bit differently on the radar. And so that is very useful for this sort of application. So again, setting this into motion here, we have quite a bit of precipitation falling right now. And again, loving your reports, loving your reports here. This is doing some really good. This is helping a ton. As far as what we can expect, and calibrating with our radar really well. Yeah. Which is awesome. So that's really, really, really good here. So uh let's see, zooming out a little bit. I'm gonna kind of scroll around a little bit. Um and let's go back to the Carolinas, just the whole radar network here. And looks like we have a hole in the data here, which is not ideal. We have a big hole in the radar data, and I'm not sure where that's coming from, but that's not great. I assure you, it is still snowing and sleeting in the Charleston metro. I do not know why that is a thing. I hope we can figure that out. I really hope. I really hope we can figure that out. So, um, let's see. So yeah, just kind of going through here again, there's some spots here that may still be getting a little bit of snow here, but for most part, that's pretty much done. Um, let's just scroll around a little bit. So yeah, Raleigh probably still in it. And yeah, let me just taking a look at a couple things here. It's not Grapple. Sorry. Getting reports of Grapple, and that's not what this is conducive to. So sorry. That's just not going to fly. So, Hendersonville area, have a few, have folks asking about that, and let me, scroll back over there real quick. Zoom out a little bit and kind of take that here. Looks like probably not too much more, maybe a little bit more tonight, but really the most of this is going to be to your east. Um, but a lot of this is going to be generally east of 77, south of 85. Um, and yeah, it's going to be interesting here. So yeah, light dusting in Henderson, but I'm not expecting any more. Um, and all right, let me see here. Not Hendersonville, just Henderson. Dang it. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's not showing up on my map here. Um, that's dumb. Yeah, there we go. That's a little more like it. Yeah, so Henderson, yeah, Henderson, North Carolina. Sorry, take the Ville out of it. Been a long day, so I apologize for that. Yeah, but yeah, you've got a little bit more. You got about an inch, maybe an inch, a little bit more than that, uh, coming through here. So we'll keep an eye on that for y'all. But you know, an inch is going to be enough to cause issues. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on for y'all. And yeah, so that's what we're looking at there. Again, Raleigh, this whole area, is 85 corridor east to 77, looking pretty good for snow for a good bit of the night, and this will clear out tomorrow, and then it'll take a little time. So, all right. So yeah, again, looking in, so folks like Jacksonville, Wilmington, things like that. I mean, again, the biggest risk is going to be near the coast. Is going to be in the coastal plain, kind of in the I-95 east to the east of I-95 is where you're going to see your highest. It's going to see your highest snow totals, which is weird. It's weird, right? Yeah, it's just weird. This is not something that we normally see, but that's the way that this is working out. Let's do a little meteorology and go to GR Earth. And all right, so we have the regional view up. So yeah, so this is kind of crazy view, but I'll talk about it. Again, it looks like we have that same dropout in the data there. So I'm gonna turn the radar off for a minute. What we're looking at here, we're looking at a composite of the low pressures, fronts, water vapor, and vorticity. And so you can kind of see here, where my mouse is here. There's a trough that is helping to induce all the winter weather. You see a lot of moisture flowing in. That's helping to induce the winter weather. The surface features are offshore. The parent low is actually to the south, where all this is overrunning a lot of warm air, being lifted across a warm front that's in the Gulf of Mexico here, and that's really starting to, and that's helping to get this going. But yeah, this piece of energy right here is what's driving all this. And there's a secondary front to the north. This high pressure is building in, and this is what's responsible for a lot of the Arctic air that's actually making this possible. So kind of an interesting view here. Again, kind of nerdy, but that's the piece of energy that's responsible for this. And this is all going to shift offshore over time. So again, that's going to be something we watch closely. But right now, again, looking at the radar network here, zoom out. I'll take this out to the last 3 hours. We'll kind of put this in motion here. You can see we do have a hole in the data there, but don't let that fool you. There is definitely precipitation there. Again, reports are coming in fast and furious, just like the movies, and we really appreciate that. So, so we have some, this is an interesting comment here. We didn't think the triangle triad would get much. This is about as difficult of a forecast as you can have. High pressure nudging in, low pressure to the south. What's the storm track going to do? What's the overrun going to do? Trended southeast. it was looking like a nothing burger for a lot of folks, um, that were not in the coastal plain, but as it turns out, it's actually been a something burger, that's fun, and there's something about a good something burger there that it's kind of rare when you get left out of that sort of thing. So, still looking at looking across the area here, and let me zoom out a little bit more, and you can see this. Really, this is the game in town. Look at all that. It's just now leaving New Orleans. That is the most surprising part of all of this. It's just now leaving New Orleans, getting into Mobile. Mobile has set a record today. New Orleans has set records today. It is definitely going. It is coming in. It's coming in hot. Kind of really impressive. Starting to get some reports now that sleet may be trying to change over to snow in downtown Charleston. So let me get down there, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was a little bit more starting to try and take shape. Now, one difference between tornado coverage is that we do not get updates to the radar, but for every 10 minutes. The radar is in a very slow scanning pattern right now. And the idea for that is that it is in its most sensitive mode, because snow is hard to find on radar. And so we're in its very sensitive at the moment. So it takes a little bit more time for it to come around. So again, questions right now around Charleston. I've got Charleston up on the screen here. We still have a lot of sleet falling. Getting some reports that perhaps that perhaps we could be starting to change to snow in some additional spots. Somerville is definitely snowing now. It's more sleeting up towards Mount Pleasant, Charleston. You can see where you have the brighter colors, where you have the yellows and the greens. This is a lot of mixing going on here, and there you go. So still seeing that mix, but that should change. That should translate to the east over time, and we should be changing over to snow here before too long. Again, by midnight, a vast majority of us should be in the snow, and that'll continue here over the next few hours. So that's going to continue into the overnight. And we could see, again, Charleston could very well be in line for 3 to 5 inches of snow, and that is kind of a drastic uptick. But we have seen this storm overperform, and that has informed, and when we've seen some signals in the models that was a possibility. Again, it was kind of back and forth. It was hard to know, but so far this one has been a bit of an overperformer. And so there you go. So yeah, so we're getting reports now that we're starting to get reports that it's starting to switch over, in downtown Charleston. So we will see how this goes. Kind of fun. Definitely kind of fun here. So getting accumulations reported in Somerville. I've seen some photos out of Somerville, some videos out of Somerville, and yeah, we're getting some good we're getting some good reports here. And again, we're getting a lot of stuff here. So thank you for the thumbs up and the super chat. Appreciate it. Hopefully I don't lose power or anything like that. Let's look at taking a peek at a couple cameras here real quick and try and see what I can find. I think did I break it? I hope I didn't break it. Let's look at the Ravenel Bridge. I think this would be a good thing for us to understand, is what is the state of the Ravenel Bridge. Yeah, I think that's the one I want here. So here's a look at the Ravenel right now, and that's not looking great, folks. Oh boy, that's looking pretty slick. There's a lot of cars, a lot of vehicles. Not a ton of people out there, but there are definitely people out there. You can see the accumulation beginning to pop up on the Ravenel. And again, we're going to go around and do some cameras here for a minute. That is that's quite something. And then here's the Duck camera in Duck, North Carolina, still coming down pretty good. looking rather, looking rather snowy there. Let's take another look at Charleston. I'm just kind of panning through my cameras here. I've got a lot of cameras available here, and kind of doing this over a remote. So the weather stem camera in Charleston is looking rather. That's not the best view that we've ever had, but you can kind of gives you a general idea of the visibility issues that we might be having as well. There's a lot of sleet coming down where this camera is. This camera is in West Ashley. Let's take a look at Greensboro. Greensboro will go to you, and give that a second to load up. And again, this computer's angry with me, so which wouldn't be the first time. So there's Greensboro. Looks relatively quiet. You have some, this is a kind of a sky cam from the weather stem folks, and looking okay there. Let's go to Florence off the PD River, courtesy of USGS, and see if it comes up. Maybe it'll come up, maybe it won't. Not sure if we're getting that. So that's okay. All right. So we may not have that one. Let's go to the weather stem in Myrtle Beach. This is courtesy of WFXB in Myrtle Beach. Not really seeing much there. We'll try another resort cam look here, if that'll load. And see what we can find. Well, yeah, I don't see. That's the beach. That's the actual beach. So it's not going to really show us a whole ton of stuff there. Let's look at. There is a few flakes there. Let's look at NC State. Starting to, a little bit of coverage there at NC State. So yeah, we're definitely seeing this. We're definitely watching this closely. And let's go to Wilmington here and kind of see. It's tougher to see on this camera right now. Not really seeing much in the way of stuff falling per se, and it may have actually frozen up. Now that I think about it, there's not really any movement going on this one either. So yeah, so we may be having some trouble with camera network right now, and that's to be expected because again, that's that can be kind of difficult. So we'll go ahead and take me back full, and take another peek here. And again, your reports are helping a ton right now because they're giving us a lot of good information. Let me see here. Just reading all this. Just looking at everything, and there's your melting layer. Let's go back to just the regular radar reflectivity. And again, this looks like I don't use the precipitation type thing because it's not accurate. But you can see that there's a big burst of precipitation that's really setting up right over Charleston. That's very likely mixing. We go to the correlation coefficient, and that does indicate that there is still a good mix of sleet, some melting here, maybe some snow trying to break through. We've had a couple reports of flakes. Down in this neck of the woods here, stretching back to Johns Island, Hollywood, Jacksonboro. You have that sharp cutoff here, and this is where your warm nose is kind of, a couple things are happening. One, the radar beam is shooting up beyond the warm nose when you get up here, but also the warm nose is just weakening in some spots too. So, putting that into motion, and you can see that now we're down to 28 at the airport. The winds are still out of the north, and that's good. That's what we're looking at. So, snowing in Hanahan and icing 3 miles away in North Charleston. Yep, that sounds about right. That's how this is going to go for a little bit longer. But again, once we get into midnight, we should be seeing a changeover to all rain. Let's see here. So again, the most important thing here is your reports, and the radar only tells me so much. I can see things on the radar. Seems like it's matching up pretty well, but the only way I know that it's matching up pretty well is because y'all tell us what's happening on the ground. Radar can't see what's happening on the ground. Really appreciate these reports. It's a big help. So we got a little bit of sleet and snow downtown, so that's not surprising, especially when we see some of these brighter bands here. Looks like a little bit more of a mix trying to get in there. A lot of snowflakes showing up in Somerville, getting a lot of reports there. Again, I think if you are along or inland of 17A, I think that 17A corridor is probably going to do the best for snow. Um, Closer to the coast, I'm still, we've had a question around, 4 to 6 inches of rain. Is that going to, or snow? See, I'm so used to talking about rain. 4 to 6 inches of snow, is that still reasonable for Charleston? And it's very early. It's still very early in the process. We have a number of hours to go. This is not going to get out of here until about 7 a.m. Or even a little bit longer. So we still have plenty of time, but I would say take the low end of that amount if you're on the Barrier Islands, downtown Charleston, those areas, just because, again, as we are seeing in the various chats here, the folks on Instagram, folks on YouTube, folks, on Facebook, we're seeing lots of reports of a lot of mixed precipitation at best, a lot of sleet right now. But again, the expectation is that is going to change overnight. Now we'll need to see what's going on. We'll need to see what happens. But again, the big question is that, is this going to be, or are we going to see, uh, you know, those higher end snow totals? And again, I think that it's really, it's a good question. So real quickly, I'm just, looking over here. It's like, what are you looking at? And I am looking at so this is the evening sounding from the Weather Service. But again, I want to, 4 to 6 inches Isle of Palms downtown. That's kind of the upper bound of where we expect y'all to be. You probably come in on the low end, if not even under that, based on what we're seeing so far with sleet. Again, it's early, but based on what I'm seeing with the sleet reports and where the rain snow line might be setting up, you're right now you're not really in line very well for that. But we'll see. Time will take ticking. So again, we still have on the Charleston sounding, and this actually makes a lot of sense. I don't have a good way of pulling this up on the screen to show you, but I'm just looking at some of the weather data right now, and we still see a pronounced warm nose aloft. We see a pretty pronounced warm nose aloft right about a couple miles up, and so that's where we're seeing some of the melting and then the refreezing that will be good there. So we'll see what happens. Again, with this warm nose is going to take a little bit more time to erode, and may not completely erode in some spots. So again, we paint a wide picture. I think if you're going to have your best bet for your biggest things here, let's see, your best bet there is going to be, we're just taking a peek at that. Yeah, your best bet is going to be in this Somerville Monk's Corner corridor, maybe into Goose Creek, but again, we were seeing a lot of that mixing there. So let's see here. Okay, did I just lose the live? Did I just lose the Instagram live? Let's see. I think I'm still transmitting. Okay. All right, there we go. So I am still transmitting. So there you go. Okay, cool. So sorry, small technical issue. Don't spam my comments. Just saying. Don't spam my comments. I'm not the government. I can block you. So anyway, now that now that we've got that out of the way, let's get back to the weather. And again, we're getting a lot of questions now. We're going to get more snow in Somerville later. Yeah, you're going to get snow at the wazoo. We've got. I really think in that 17A corridor is probably going to be the best shot for pretty good accumulating snow. If the best overlap of moisture, cold air, lifting, I think that's going to be really, really good. In that neck of the woods. So again, we're watching this closely. We're going to watch this throughout the night. And what we're going to do here in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to dump you back to the Charleston Weather Net or the Carolina Weather Net to look at, wide stuff across the country. Again, this is not a life or death situation. So wanted to spend a little time with y'all tonight, but again, let's kind of reset back and let's go talk through the radar network here. And again, we got this weird hole in the data. I have no idea. And we have this weird hole in the radar data here, and I have no idea why that's there, but you can see that predominantly across the Carolinas, it is looking like snow. We have rain offshore, maybe some freezing rain right at the coast, definitely some sleet still mixing in there, starting to get reports now about snow starting to really start to mix in downtown. So that is a good data point there. So great question here about schools and driving on Thursday. And that's a really, that's a good question. I think we're going to be dealing with black ice issues for the next few nights and mornings. It's going to take it might, depending on how much falls here, it may take a couple days to get all this melted. Now, I don't think it's going to hang around like it did in 2018. But that being said, if we kind of max out on the top end, of the predictions, like like what we kind of expect, it may take a couple days. And so we're going to have some, refreezing issues over the next few nights. We're gonna need to watch that closely and just see kind of like, you just take it day by day with that. But I'm expecting black ice issues every morning through at least Friday morning. We do get warmer as time goes on, but by warmer, I mean we get into the 40s. We get into the 40s on Friday, get into the 40s on Saturday. Thursday may be too cloudy to really melt anything. So we'll see. We will see what happens. So, getting reports again now. We're mixing with snow in Park West and Mount Pleasant. That's great. The weather in Philadelphia on Sunday at 3 p.m. And don't worry about the Chargers, Allie. The Chargers are, they're dead to me until they move back to San Diego. But congratulations to the Commanders. I haven't looked. I will freely admit that I have not looked. I'll take a look and I'll get back to you. But go Commanders. That was amazing. That was incredible. And I feel really bad, Lions fans. Feel real bad for you guys, honestly. That's but as a Panthers fan, I get it. So anyway, again, looking here at the, just kind of taking a peek at the radar here, starting to get more of those mixed reports here. Have people texting me and it's like, F sleet, where's my snow? And it's like, it's coming. Relax. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, we're getting a lot of reports of sleet downtown. Again, let's go back to the radar. Again, this is the raw radar data. This isn't the radar data that is, masked over. This is the raw information here. You can see just looks like a lot of mixing going on here. And again, we can confirm that looking at the correlation coefficient. Still a lot of mixing here. You see a lot of those yellows, the greens there. That's a lot of different precipitation types within the beam. And so we're starting to see that, but we're also starting to see some areas that are looking a little bit more uniform as well. So let's see what that does. Let's see what that does. But ultimately, we'll just see. This is going to be an issue off and on for a while. It does look like we're seeing a little bit of a push. I'm seeing a little bit of a push into Somerville of a little bit more of the snow variety, and this will improve over time. But again, we just took a look at the 7 o'clock sounding from the Weather Service office in North Charleston, And all of that suggested that there's still a pretty stout warm nose to overcome. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get sleet out of here and to change this all over to snow. Again, the expectation is generally is that we should be mostly snow by about midnight. So again, not great, not what we, not what we want, especially, if we're looking for accumulations, but it's coming. We're just going to need to be patient and give it some time. Um, but yeah, I mean, it looks like we're completely snow now in Somerville, based off of, again, just based off of what I can see on the radar. Radar doesn't tell me everything. And this is why we have your ground truth, and this is why we have your reports. And they are incredibly useful. And again, zooming in, North Charleston area, a lot of reports of ice pellets coming in here. That's sleet. Just a lot there. So anyway, continue to monitor it, but let's we're going to keep an eye on this over the next little bit. And once again, folks, I think the most important thing is that we're going to be cold for the next several days. And make sure that you've got faucets dripping every night. Make sure you've got that your pets are in a warm place, people you care about are warm and safe. Your sensitive plants, if they're not covered by now, it's not looking good. So, those are the things that we're going to need to, be paying attention to over the next several days, because the cold is not getting out of here right out of the gate, unfortunately. So again, taking one last look, there's your wide view, a lot of snow mixing near the coast. Going to keep that going for a little bit longer. And again, the thinking is that when we get overnight, we're going to start to see this begin to transition more to snow. Getting some pictures in the Weather Service Slack over in Georgia, and they're getting some pretty good snowfall over there right now in Bullock County. So, with all that said, we're going to go ahead and kick you back to the Carolina Weather Net over on the Carolina Weather Group. And and what we'll do with that is that'll show you cameras, conditions, with some nice light jazz music in the background too. So gotta love that. But anyway, so for now, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a stream. If anything crazy happens, we'll come back, but I think we're gonna be okay. Just enjoy it and be safe. Try not to drive if you can, and we'll be all right. So anyway, Jared Smith here, aka Weather Daddy. Everyone loves to call me Weather Daddy. You can buy the shirt if you want to, and we're working on that. And again, everybody, kind of have some fun with this. We can actually have some fun with this as long as we're not sliding around and doing anything too crazy. So, y'all have a lovely evening, and we will see you again real soon. Thanks for watching.